God bless you. Welcome to the Stephen Smith Show. Glad to be before you on another week. Hadn't been here in 2 weeks. It reminds me, I need to ask Miss Debbie about that intro. Have you ever seen the intro, Miss T? Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to ask Miss Debbie about it. We'll be Miss Debbie, I'm gonna be calling you. Glad to be back in front of you. God bless you, Memphis, the northern Mississippi, and also central Arkansas. Glad to be before you on another week. It's hard coming some nights at night. Usually about the week, usually when I do a show, I had a friend that lost his mother, and we're praying for his family. That's Sherman Boyd in the loss of his mother, Mrs. Cardell Boyd. That's my prayers go out to Sherman. Prayers go out to his sister also. I lost a classmate recently. His name is Anthony Crowder, all the Central High folks from the 80s, praying for that family. I met a nice lady today, and her name was Maud Washington. And Miss Washington says that she watches me every week. So God bless you, Sister Washington. Bidding you a great adieu. And I talked to my guy on the way over here, Mr. Othel Titan, my guy. You're my guy, Mr. Othel, one of the older guys around town that I highly value and look up to. Just a great brother. Hopefully you're doing well tonight, Brother Titan. Tonight, I hadn't been here in a little while, and boy, things are about to get hectic for everyone because the holidays are about to hit, and so many things, man. I downloaded some of the news apps for the Memphis area, and you just, boy, they give me a run nowadays. I'm almost considering taking them off. The notifications coming off is just such bad news after bad news after bad news. And we're about to hit another 10-year run. This is the end of the second decade of this particular millennium. Well, particular century rather, not millennial, particular century. Second decade, we're almost out. I mean, it's 2020 is right around the corner. And I know that I'm a hybrid. I'm a different type of guy. I got a little bit of the street, a little bit of the intellectual, a little bit of the comedian, and a whole lot of preacher. And just a tad bit of motivation. So I may be all three of them tonight. I may be all of those facets of myself. I wanted to talk with you tonight. If I used the subject, I said, and I want you to say this out loud wherever you are, whether it's in Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, Olive Branch, Horn Lake, South Haven, Little Rock, or Hot Springs, South Haven, Mississippi. I want you to say this, whether it's in the city or in the hood or in the suburbs, wherever you may be. I want you to repeat this with me and say it out loud. I want you to say, I give myself permission to win. I believe deep down on the inside that a lot of times that a lot of us are not winning in life because we have not given ourselves permission to win. You know, some of us have hit the fork in the road. We hit a snag in life, and we just have never seemed to get back on firm footing. But I want you to remember on tonight, it doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean as much as Steve says that he gives you permission to win. I need your own ears to hear your own mouth say that I give myself permission to win. You got to think. even the woman with the issue of blood. And there's right in that little text, it said that she said within herself, if I may but touch. So she did some talking to yourself. The Bible's full from cover to cover with why do you think the Bible said, let the weak say that I'm strong? But I'm just talking tonight about giving yourself permission to win. Yes, you hit a fork in the road. Yes, you went through a snag in life. Yes, the marriage didn't quite work out. Yes, while you were on this hot pace with the hot company, and the company made some bad decisions and you had to pay the price. Right after you had gotten a big house, right after you had gotten a nice car, right after you had gotten stature in the community. But I know those reversals are painful. It's hard to come back from a painful reversal. But I'm talking right now that while you're in the midst of cinders still burning, smoke still billowing from some things that have happened in your past, I'm telling you to boldly sit up in that bed, boldly sit up right in that room and say, I give myself permission to win. Folks, you got to stop reliving that bad place that you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, sometimes even 40 years ago. Stop reliving it. Stop doing doubles. Stop doing take after take of the same old thing. I know it was awful. I hate that it was awful, but at some point you got to start dealing with this. You got to draw the proverbial, preach Steve, line in the sand and say, here and no further. Folks, you got to give yourself permission to win. I'm ordering a reset for you folks because we're right on the cusp of 2020, a whole new decade is out there about to command our attention. And folks, you fought from 2010. And here we are in the last days of 2019. It's been a struggle all the time, but most of the struggle was the weight that you're carrying from prior battles with adversity, prior tough times that you had and skirmishes, and you got the bumps and bruises of a 2 to 3 time loser. Folks, I'm speaking a word to you, and I ain't trying to be Teddy Pendergrass on tonight, but I'm telling you that we must first win the battle of our mind. Many times we can't win in life because we have not forgiven ourselves from something or some way, some opportunity that we burned, some opportunity that we spurned. I can think of a million times how I want to walk back through time as a time traveler, and if I had that opportunity again, what I would have done differently. But as they say, the old adage is, hindsight is 20/20. I can't go back and correct what I did. I wish I could go back and correct so many things. I would have done things different. I would have made a way here. I would have mended some fences. I wouldn't have stepped out on some things that I stepped out on, and I would have stepped out on some things that I didn't step out on. But that's looking in the rearview mirror. I can't drive down any street in America and only use my rearview mirror. I can go in reverse like I'm from South Memphis, because I knew a guy once on Azalea. He would drive all the way up and around the corner in reverse. But folks, sooner or later, you're going to meet a bad place. So I'm telling you that we need to start giving ourselves permission to win. You got to forgive yourself for some of these losses. Some of the losses that we've incurred in life aren't our own fault. No one told that uncle to touch you, sister. Preach, Steve. I'm going down on the inside on tonight. No one told that uncle or that friend or your brother's partner to take the liberties to touch you at such a young age. I know that has put you on a spiral that started so early, and I wish I could go back as a time traveler and be the time cop that catches the person before he hurt you, but I can't do it. But I'm telling you that we cannot still stay stuck or stay located at the place of our major hurt. I'm saying that we should all give ourselves permission to win. We're right here on the cusp of a brand new decade, and I'm speaking a prophetic word over your life, over the airways on tonight, just to you all on Facebook and YouTube also. I'm speaking this word that I know you got to hear you say it, but I'm speaking a word as a man that God had tapped on the shoulder on the way over here, and he gave a word that I'm speaking that I give you permission to win. I'm tired of you been in the loser's line for long enough. You cried enough tears. You've suffered enough pain. It's time for us to start turning the corner. I'm giving you permission to win. You got to call your own name out. If your name is Debbie, you said I give Deborah permission to win. I give Stephen permission to win. I give Stephanie permission to win. I gave everybody in my house permission just then. But I mean, whatever your name is, I want you to call your name out and give yourself permission to win. Oh, folks, I'm telling you, I talk to people every day, and it helps me stay grounded a lot of times because I talk to people and I think I know what I'm dealing with in a week's time. I have a pressure job. I got some pressures that are going on in the family at different times, but I talk to people that are going through horrendous things. So don't you believe that you're the only one that's challenged. Don't you believe that you're the only one that's going through. But in the midst of all those challenges, I'm asking you to boldly take the powerful step forward. Preach, Steve. I am tonight. I'm telling you, I'm declaring that I'm trying to touch something in your intestinal fortitude, way down, as the old saints used to say, on the inside, to boldly declare that I give myself permission to win. Folks, you've lost the left stuff in life. You had some tough times. You had some tough breaks. You've had some rough takes. And you got to make up in your mind that I give myself permission to win. This particular text I'm about to read, Psalm 61, doesn't perfectly kiss our subject tonight, but I'm going to connect it. I'm going to be the man that ties that knot and reels it on home. Psalm 61, the words of the eagle-eyed prophet, he said that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Folks, you proclaim liberty to those that are bound, and liberty to the captives, and the opening of prison to them that are bound. Child of God, my first time on tonight. I'm speaking a word to you on tonight that I give you. Got to give yourself permission to win. Oh, folks, I know that the enemy had you in his maximum security prison of your mind. You know, he had you in the hole. He had you under watch, and you're still reliving so many events from your past, so many tough breaks, so many times that the job went to the next man or the next woman. But I'm telling you that not only do you need to give yourself permission to win, I'm telling you that you got to start making your decision that I'm the author of my story going forth. I know that God is the person that declares the end from the beginning. But if God's not panicking over your situation, and he promised that he watches over you, he promises that he's your rear guard. He promises you that he's your refuge and your help, your very present, your refuge and your strength, your very present help in a time of trouble. Child of God, my brother and sister, I give you, I'm telling you, you got to give yourself, but I'm telling you, I give you permission to win. Verse 2, Isaiah 61:2, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, or the year of the Lord's favor, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. Folks, we got so many people out here Here, suffering, the harvest is ripe, it was said, but the laborers are few. Child of God, I'm on television on tonight, trying to speak to you deep down on the inside. I know I'm not everybody's fit. I'm not on everybody's 411 of favorite preachers, but I promise you that God sent me here to talk to you on tonight. I know that I have a devil by the tail on tonight because I need to speak to someone, because we're getting right up on the cusp of the holidays. The holiday blues are ready to grab somebody right now. They're going to start telling you all the things that are going wrong with your life, and then all of a sudden jingle bells and all these songs start coming on. You seeing other couples and you seeing what everybody's buying that you can't buy. And this is the enemy's time to get a foothold in the kingdom. It's amazing that we can turn what was supposed to be a holy day, and we can turn this whole season into something that's so commercial that the enemy consumes so many of us on. Child of God, I'm speaking that word again, that I'm giving you permission to win. Now, will you be bold enough to give your own self permission to win? Psalm 61, verse 3, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. Zion is symbolic of the church. To give unto them beauty for ashes. That word beauty, you know what that means, but that word ashes is called the residue that's left after the fire. Boy, I tell you, I see a singer on my Facebook. That's the thing. And many of the enemies sometimes has just burned so many areas of our life, and all we got is just some leftovers. But I'm telling you, in 2020, if you hold on to God's hand, God's going to show you what he can do with some leftovers. Child of God, you got to give yourself permission to win. I'm pulling you off the sidelines. Preach, Steve. I'm pulling you off the cheerleader row. I'm pulling you off from watching this person and watching that person. And I'm telling you that this is the elevation. This is the coming out party. This is the curtain starting to roll on the person called you. You got to give your own self permission to win. I know you can talk about, I don't care what Auntie Tootsie say about you, and I don't care if you are one of Clara's kids, and you know Clara's kids didn't have the education that we had. But God wants to use one of Clara's kids that God can show out after a while. Child of God, I just got happy my own self talking about it. You got to give your own self permission to win. I know that your local is so challenged, but God's about to give you global. You worried about folks around the block and around the street and at the church next door, and God's getting ready to give you Asia. Preach, Steve. I got myself happy tonight. God's ready to give you Asia. God's ready to take you on a tour of England. That God's ready to give you the known world, and you're worried about them folks over there off of Macklemore. Preach, Steve. You're worried about those folks at the church across the street from the projects. Child of God, God's about to do something major in your life, but you got to start. You got to do that Romans 12 and 2, 12, 1 and 2, what Paul writing to the church at Rome. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, I beg you, please, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Verse 2, and be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm telling you that it's time to do some mental gymnastics right now. The same thoughts that you were thinking in 2010 through 2019, if they stay the same, you're going to get the same. If you want to get some things that you never had, preach, Steve, you're going to have to start thinking some thoughts that you never thought of before. for. Child of God, you got to give your own self permission to win. I decided that I was tired of being on the sidelines. I decided that I was tired of being everybody else's cheerleader. I decided that I didn't want to give anybody's permission slip. Bishop, will you give me permission? But Apostle, will you give me permission? Folks, you got to give your own self permission to win. You got to make a firm decision that the enemy has gained a foothold in my life. The enemy has just beat me from pillar to post, but I have made a firm decision that things are about to turn around, that the things are about to start manifesting, that God's about to take my life to a new place, and I give myself permission to win. I wrote, sometimes you got to do that Leroy Brown thing and talk to say self, and myself say, and you got to say, self, I give myself permission to win. And you say, okay. You got to have a whole little conversation with yourself, because folks, I'm telling you, people are telling you to wait. So many that's a word for somebody right now. So many people got that word that you need to wait. You need to sit. You need to do this. And we do that, and we have people sitting on their gifts forever until either time runs out on them or their bodies. Then when they get ready to run, they're weary. Child of God, I'm coming against the spirit of sitting on people, and I give you yourself permission to win. Right where you're going on, you know what your background has it, and it's somebody with the same background that's winning. You got that husband that you talking about that ain't no good. Well, somebody with a husband that's even worse, that's winning. The Bible says that it rains on the just. Preach, Steve, and the unjust. And no matter how it rains, there's somebody on both sides who's finding a way to win. I'm taking away your excuses on tonight. I know that your mama gave you the bald-headed doll and your other sister got the doll with hair. But we're going to stop using that for an excuse, and we're going to give ourselves permission to win. 2020 is going to be a different year. 2020 is going to give us the life of our dreams, and we're not waiting for 2020 to start moving into our kingdom. 2019, from here on out, that tonight is where you put a marker down. You draw that line in the sand. You're going to tell the enemy, here and no further, this is where my life starts to turn. This is where my life starts to change. This is where my life starts to blow up, and I break out on the left, and I break out on the right. This is where I enlarge the place of my tent. Preach, Steve, and stretch out the stakes. I'm breaking out that God is making expansion. It's soon to be your norm, but I'm telling you that you got to give your own self permission to win. Folks, if you wait on some of these folks to give you permission, please give me permission. Please give me permission. Please give me permission. Oh, watch. Wait. And I'm not saying that everything comes overnight. You do need to do a tad bit of waiting, but you've been waiting for 20 years, sitting on your gift, waiting for the affirmation, the validation, or the substantiation from some person that won't give it to you if you could spin straw into gold. Preach, Steve, I just did. I'm speaking the word that you got to make the firm decision right in that little old house of yours that I give myself permission to win. Right driving that old car that everybody else is talking about, the little smokemobile, I give myself permission to win. Folks, you got to find a point that I'm going to start turning my life around. I'm telling you that you don't need to go into 2020 in a spiral, because tonight I'm endeavoring, say your name right now, that I give myself permission to win. Let me call my own name. I give myself Stephen F. Smith permission to win. I give all those folks that live at the house with me out there where we live, I give them permission to win. The same God that'll make it happen for me can make it happen to you. There is no secret what God can do, what he's done for others. I promise you he'll do the same thing for you. Child of God, my brother and my sister, you got to give your own self permission to win. You haven't made it to a place of destiny because you're waiting for this person to give you the tag. You're waiting to be discovered when God is. You're waiting on God, and if the truth be told, God's waiting on you. You're waiting to be discovered, and you got a cell phone, and you got a pad. Go to work with that pad. Start working on your dreams. Start pushing yourself past that which you've known. Stop being stagnant. Stop being commonplace, and stop being complacent. You got to give your own self permission to win. I woke up this morning, looked in the mirror, saw that big old-eyed boy in the glass, in the mirrors that I saw, and I thank God for waking me up today. And right after that, I gave my own self permission to win. It is my most sincere prayer that you will echo me in what I did and give your own self permission to win. God bless you. I'll see you next week. God bless you.